Says it's recording. You guys got something like that? All right. So before we get into Revit for the night, let's talk about our BIM technology focuses, right? So what is BIM, right? What did you guys learn?
It's a one-to-one representation of a structure.
Of a structure. Okay, good. That's the building part of it, right?
So isn't it just it's a full format to where you can actually communicate for communications and building from the inception to completion of the project.
So that is, I mean, that's BIM in an entirety. Okay,
Okay.
but like, what is the building information modeling? What does that mean?
Doesn't it mean takeoffs mostly? I mean, you can get all the information about the building into a spreadsheet and do cost estimates and things
Perfect.
like that.
So that's
Yeah.
part of the BIM, right? That's part of the information. What else is part of information?
Is it
Uh,
for maintenance or the people that own the shareholders that own the building or the maintenance people? Is that part of it?
It can be, absolutely. And
Okay.
when we get into the Navis model that I'm going to show you in a little bit, of the project I'm working on, that you'll see that, when we click on anything, we know everything about what's inside of it. So that BIM part, that building information, okay, the building information, right? That information part where not only does maybe the light will tell you what color it's going to be, but all the way down to a boiler, right? A HVAC. Maybe it even has embedded information like, how often filters need to get changed, what filters need to go in here, right? There's all types of information that can be embedded. And then when a building maintenance person, maybe down the road, comes in and clicks on, and I'll pull this up real quick because we're talking about it. So this is a building I'm currently working on. But when a person comes in and we want to know, okay, what is this duct, right? I can click on this duct. I can go here to my properties. I can look at this element and I can find all the information about what that duct is, how long it is, an ID number if I need to go look it up in my Revit. Um, it'll give me an elevation of where things are at. It'll give me the package information of where it was submitted. And this right here says it's IFF'd, which means that has been issued for fabrication. So there is a lot of information that gets embedded in all of these models. So instead of just having for the people that took AutoCAD, that, you have a block, you have something that's representing the space. There is no place to embed information in it. And that's where the information part of building information modeling come in. All right. Any other things you want to talk about that BIM technology focus? Any other thoughts, questions, concerns? Okay. So what about a total station? What is a total station and digital layout? What does that do?
does a total station map the three-dimensional placing of the building structure? In other words, where a wall would be, it can tell you exactly where it is in the drawing. Uh,
Correct. It can show you with a robotic
and
head, it can show you where something's going to be, right?
so pretty much a camera that uses lasers to record distance and placement.
Correct. So everything that I do gets exported to what's called a Trimble file. Okay. And a Trimble is this little laser. Oh, someone else joined. Who else joined? Charlie joined. Cool. A Trimble is this laser robotic head that's got a laser on it, and there's a couple different iterations of it, but ultimately you would take what's called a story pole, or you would take this long reflective piece, and you would hold it and walk over until it told you this is exactly where we need to be, right? It's going to tell you within the, a 16th of an inch where you need to be. They would then mark that on the deck or wherever they're at. And then now we can install a blue bagger. Now we can install a box in that location or a piece of strut or whatever it needs to be. But all of that, we don't give measurements for anything anymore. We give
So,
a Trimble file that will tell the field exactly where this piece of strut needs to go, where these endpoints are, and then they shoot it in the field and can see exactly where it needs to go with the lasers. So it's pretty cool. It definitely has sped up a lot of layout. You're not out there with a tape measure and a string anymore.
yeah.
And these points are as accurate as the thickness of your marker. Yes, Russell, you're muted, buddy.
It wouldn't have clicked. So is that based on a GPS location?
No, GPS is, in my
So that,
opinion, garbage for layout.
okay.
So what
So
what
how would
happens with GPS? Okay, GPS is only as good as a softball.
Okay.
So it can get you close, but when you're trying to hit that stub up under a panel, right? And you're trying to make sure that it's coming up and you're hitting that bracing, right? Before that ever comes in. That is all based on control points. So we give three different control points. The robot then knows exactly where it's at in space and then can triangulate the location of the point that we need to give it.
so are
But
there points throughout a building that are permanent placements that the computer goes by to know where it's at?
we have what's called control points. So they line up those control points and say, hey, these three locations we know, and now the machine can do what it does.
We still have to line up with the benchmark, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That
So, and again, you can get away with it. So GPS is out there, right? And so GPS is really cool because we don't need to set up a control system, right? We know where we're at. The problem with GPS, and like I said, is it's softball size at best. Okay, and I'm saying at best, realistically, it's probably more about volleyball sized, meaning that like it'll give you a point and you could be 4 inches off of that point of where you really want to be located because GPS it's great for what it is, right? But it's not a thousandth of an inch measuring machine, right? It's global satellites, right? So when you have that, you've got room for error. And a lot of times, maybe it doesn't matter, right? There's some big projects that within 4 inches is close enough. But with things that I'm working on, I mean, 16th of an inch measurement is what we're going by, and we need to be modeled and installed to that 16th of an inch.
as
So,
a carpenter, so that's how I always played. So
huh?
as a carpenter, that's how I always played within a 16th.
Exactly, right? So, and that's what our tolerance is.
Okay.
So, from the model to what's constructed, if it's more than a 16th different, I'm going back and I'm as-builting it. I'm changing a location in my model. Yes, George.
So is the total station the way we measure stuff on a given project with Rivet or that file that it exports?
Right.
I missed it in the reading, so I'm trying to get a kind of a short this definition of total station.
Ultimately, you're looking at a robotic head that can figure out three or more known locations, and now it can shoot a laser beam either on the deck to a particular point, or it shoots to a reflector, and the reflector moves around. And once it's in the correct location, the total station will beep at you and say, "Hey, this is right. Go ahead and place this right here."
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions before we get? I like having a good discussion. So, anything else before we move on about either total stations or BIM in general? All right. So, I'm going to go ahead and close this. What I want you to do is I want you to go and open up Revit, okay? And I want you to get to this splash screen. So, today we're going to be doing some housekeeping. Okay, we're gonna get this set up so that down the line we don't have a bunch of excess crap in our model that we don't want to see. These templates are very generic and they are not tailored to our class needs, right? So we're gonna delete stuff we don't want to use and then just simplify this. So, is everyone here at the splash screen just waiting to go?
Hey, is there any reason that it's white compared to the black, or is that just a preference?
That's just my background preference. You're fine. Once we get
Okay.
into it, I will have a black top border. Like my ribbon is black, but everything else is white. You can change that in your preferences if you want. But since my theme of my computer is dark, it takes that into account.
Okay, what's the splash screen?
Right here.
I'm sorry. Oh, okay. That one. Okay.
So just go ahead and open Revit and get to this very first screen. I'm going to go ahead and just shut this down real quick one more time. Just for the video, I'm going to type in Revit 2020. Again, I'm using 25, you're using 26, or 25 or 21. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It hasn't really changed. It might look a hair different, but ours should look almost identical. So just bringing this back up. Okay, it takes a second to load. Um, I say it takes a second to load. For us, once we open a project, it'll only take us, 10, maybe 15 seconds to open a project. I actually have special tools and add-ins on mine that like at 3:30 in the morning, it wakes it up and it automatically starts opening my project because it takes an hour and a half to open. All right, George, yes, you got something.
Is there any known issues with having the program open on multiple computers?
No.
Okay.
As long as
Th-
you're licensed for in both of them, it shouldn't be a big deal.
All right. Thanks.
Yep. All right, so again, I just opened Revit. Again, it's going to take, 2 minutes to open. Not a big deal. Just give it its time. Um, this program is incredibly powerful. It's incredibly fast when it can be, but it has a lot of background processing that goes on. George, do you have something else? I just see a hand up. You can lower it, or I can lower it. Okay, we're all good.
Oh, yeah, I'm good. Sorry.
No good, no worries. All right, so this right here, okay, is what is referred to as the splash screen, right? If you went and jumped in a pool, you splash. That's what this is called, a splash screen. What it's going to show you on here is going to show you any recent projects that you have opened. A lot of you will see all these sample projects that come in here by default. Um, okay, we're not going to do anything with any of those. What I want to do is I want to click new over here on the left hand side. There's this models, open and new, and I want to click new. And that's going to bring up this prompt right here for we're going to create a new project from this Imperial multidiscipline template file. Okay, does that make sense? What we're looking at is Imperial, meaning that we're in feet and inches. Okay, and we're going to create a new project. Okay, go ahead and click OK, and Revit will open up, and you should be left with something that looks like this. All right, so give me a thumbs up when you've got here. Awesome. Right on. Cool. All right, so what we're going to be doing before we do
Could you
anything
do that
else,
again? Oh, wait, no, never mind. Never mind. Sorry. I got it.
are we
Uh,
good?
um, so I wasn't here last week, but I couldn't. I went to the school today and tried to get a computer, but they ran out. So I'm ordering one because I have a MacBook. So
Okay,
this is recording. Could I come back and do this?
absolutely.
Okay,
And
thank you
talk to
so
me
much.
about whatever you need to for a computer.
Okay,
You
thank you
ordered
so much.
one?
Yes.
Okay. They ran out of computers at the school?
Yes. They ran out. I was like, oh, how am I supposed to do my work? But yeah,
Wow.
they ran. So I ordered one.
Okay, well, that's not acceptable, but I will thank you for letting me know that. I'm so sorry for that.
It's okay. Thank you.
Okay. Um, all right. So yeah, I'm recording. This whole thing will be recorded. Everything we do in this class is recorded and posted within the next 24 hours after class, typically. Okay. All right. So again, it looked like everyone was here. Let's go ahead and I want to go ahead and clean up this project browser. So I'm actually going to pull this out. You guys don't need to do this necessarily, but I'm just going to make this a little wider. And I'm going to, since we're not using the properties area right now, I'm just going to grab this and bring it up so we can really see this full project browser. And what's going on in here is we've got a lot of views and a lot of legends and a lot of schedules and a lot of sheets, okay, that we do not want. We will build our own sheets, we'll build our own schedules. We don't need to use something that came out of the box, okay? So what I want to do is I want to start deleting some stuff. And if you delete everything, that's fine, not a big deal. We'll get it back. I want to leave this L1 architectural plan for right now. And anything else underneath this architectural views category, right? All of this, and I don't know if I can grab all of it at once. Let me see if I can hold shift and grab it all. I'm going to right click and hit delete. Okay, now it looks like it didn't like to delete all of that. We might have to open these up individually. Okay, so each one of these plus buttons opens a menu, right? And so there may be a few of these. If I open all of these, I should be able to do it this way. Again, if you want to just open one at a time and just click one at a time and delete it, that's fine too. But there's a lot of views and a lot of stuff that I don't want to continue to kick downstream, so to speak. So I'm actually going to hold control and click on each one of these views. I'm not clicking on the root category or the floor plan. I'm actually clicking on the view itself, holding control. And again, there's lots of views in here, but we want to make this so it's user friendly for us. So I've got everything selected besides that L1 architectural. I'm going to right click and delete, and it should, since I didn't have the actual category selected, just the views, it then allowed me to delete all of those. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with the legends, with the schedules, and with the sheets. Okay, when we want to get rid of all of these, again, if you want to just click on one of them and hit the little delete key on your keyboard, not the backspace key, but the actual delete key under your insert key. Okay, you can just delete them one at a time too. Like that's not a big deal. You can just click on one and if you click on the bottom, it'll keep selecting up above it, so then it'll just keep deleting everything else above. And we should be left with something that looks just like this. Okay, so we're just gonna have, if we expand the architectural tab, we're just gonna have this L1 architectural, and then you should have a few families, that's fine. You should have some groups in there, that's fine. But everything underneath the legends, the schedules, the sheets should all be deleted so there's nothing here that we can expand them down. Any questions with that? I'll give you a couple minutes to get those all deleted.
Yeah, I'm not seeing. Okay, under because it says views disciplines at the very top, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then if I open the architectural, it just says floor plans, sections, working sections, and coordinating electrical, plumbing, and
Okay, so why
structure.
don't you share your screen with me? Okay,
Uh,
so I'll have people do this from time to time. This is pretty helpful for some people that may not see what I'm doing. Maybe they're seeing what their screen was. And it definitely can be helpful. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop my share. Go ahead. I'm
All
gonna
right,
allow your share.
and let me see. All right, which one is it's that one. All right.
And let's see what we got going on your screen. Perfect. So you have all types of more views. Open all of those.
These?
No, keep going. Floor plan. There's a plus, right?
Oh,
Drill down as far
okay.
as you can go. So we want to delete all of those views inside of there except that L1 architectural.
Okay, so not these because there's well, the second
That's
one
a
does
ceiling
too.
plan. That's a ceiling plan. We just want the floor plan L1 architectural.
All right,
So if
and
you
then
click on
everything
that
else.
L2 and you just hit delete key on your keyboard right now, not the backspace, there you go. You can just delete them that way.
Okay, so everything below that L1 right there.
Everything below that, let's delete
Okay,
until you
because
get down to families. But yeah, you can delete all those sheets that way.
do you leave the sheet thing or?
Yeah, you can't delete that.
Oh, okay.
And then expand the schedules. There's going to be a bunch of schedules down there as well.
Here.
Up, that's families.
Okay.
There you go. Expand that, expand both of those, and delete all the inner contents of those as well. We're just trying to clean this up so that way we can have a nice fresh start.
Okay. How about the symbols and
Yep.
text?
Yep. All I want is that L1 architectural. So then anything above there now, go ahead and expand and then delete until you have nothing left except that top one. And again, you may need to drill down 2 or 3 folders, right? Or 2 or 3 levels, right? Click that plus button. Now you'll see those structural plans.
All right.
I know it's a lot, but would you rather do this once or do it every week, right?
Oh,
So,
I'm good. I just glad getting it, making sure I get it done.
no, you're good. This is why we're doing it so we don't have all this crap in here that we don't need, right?
Yeah.
Because we're going to build our own floor plans, level plans, whatever you want to do. But there you go. Cool. Is there anyone else that wants me to look at their screen before we continue on?
Just to confirm, everything below L1 architectural, delete it.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Not the families, not the groups, but it should look exactly like that right now, what William's showing, where you just have legends. When you click on architectural, leave that alone. Leave that alone. But when you click on architectural floor plans, you have L1 architectural. Then legends should not have a plus button next to it. Schedule should not have a plus button, and neither should sheets.
Then family and groups you leave.
Leave those all alone. They're fine.
All right.
We're not going to
So
mess with that.
I'll get off the share if I can figure out how to get that. Oh.
I can kill you if you want. Oh, you got it. Cool. All right. Anyone else want me to look at their screen before we go on? Oh, I just saw some. Oh,
Oh, I do have a question though. How do I redock that on because it's undocked from my program or from the
share again. I'll show you.
okay.
So what's undocked?
That's
Oh,
right.
okay. So grab that top gray bar where it says Project Browser Project 1, drag it to the left-hand side. Not move it up just a hair so you don't have the arrows where it's just an actual mouse on it. There you go. Grab it right there. Drag it
That
left. Click and drag. Click and drag the whole. No, not where you're trying to resize right now. We
okay.
want the actual
Just
pointer.
like that, right?
Yep, click that, drag to the left. Click that project browser. There you go. And now you put something else there. That's fine.
And how do you? I mean, are you able to get it back down underneath, or
Yeah, let's grab that properties now and throw it on top of the other one. Drag that over and on top. So like it should light up. Here,
okay?
I'm gonna show on my screen real quick for anyone else
Right.
that, and then you can follow along. But docking that stuff is kind of difficult sometimes. So let me know when you
You
can
just have to have it highlight right to where
let me
you.
know when you can see my screen.
Okay, let me get out of here.
So like let's say right now I pulled that project browser out just like you did. Can you see my screen?
Yeah,
Okay. So if I grab this right here, I can drag this around, right?
yeah,
You grab that top bar, you can drag it around. Now, if I drag it all the way to the left, you'll see that there's all types of these windows that pop up or blue areas that pop up, right?
yeah,
So if I grab here, so see how this now is just, let's do, nope, that's not right. It didn't grab where I wanted it to do. Let's put it right there. So there, right there where you get the top half of it to turn blue, we'll stack them on top of each other. So right here, oh, if I drop it, then it'll put the project browser or the properties on top. I typically keep properties on top. And again, it is a little finicky, especially with this massive mouse. It doesn't like it. Oh, there, right there. So you can drag that around. You can dock it to one side or the other. You can undock it. You can actually drag this to another screen if you want to. Okay, so these are pretty flexible. They used to not be able to leave the UI, right? So I couldn't used to take these off of this screen. Now you can take this and bring it out to another monitor if you want more real estate. All right. Any questions?
In my families, I don't have, there's nothing in my files. There's in the, where you're asking to delete, the L1, L2, there's nothing in there. There's no previous plans or anything. So,
Okay, do you want to share your screen?
sure. Oh, where'd you go?
So bottom of the Zoom window, there should be a green share button, and then you have to click that and then choose what screen you want to share, and then click OK. So many times I try to share and I don't click the last button, and then it doesn't go anywhere.
Right with me. Okay. It's fighting with me. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I've got a clean sheet, so
Okay.
we're
All right. And if you don't have all the families in there right now, that's not the end of the world. We're not going to do much with the families tonight. Although you should have at least the out of the box doors and windows and stuff. So that's what we're going to start with.
yeah, and it's there's nothing previous in there, so um it's a brand new download. So
Okay. Well, all right. So then I'll go back to sharing my screen and we'll get going for tonight. Any questions before we move on to the first part of lecture tonight?
Yeah, can you check mine out real quick?
Yep, I can. That's why I'm asking right now. This is what tonight is the night that you guys we get set up. Let me look at your screens, right? Whatever we need to do. All right. Yep, you look good. You just need to delete that sheet. So click that sheet right there. Nope, down. Two. Right there. That one. Then hit delete on your keyboard and you're good to go. Not the backspace. Hit the actual delete button. There you go.
I'm trying. It's not doing it. Oh,
If
there we
you
go.
There you go. Right on.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'd like to share my
Yep.
screen.
Throw it up.
Uh,
Let's have a share fest.
okay, so share.
Share, choose your screen, click OK. All right, perfect. Yeah,
I got the same problem. That A102.L2 architectural, I can't delete it.
L2 architect. What do you mean? You're good.
Got it in the sheets where it says A102 architectural floor plans.
Do you have it open?
Yep.
Well,
I
that's
got it.
why you can't delete it if it's open.
So do I need to?
Share your screen again. You look good. Whoever's sharing your screen, Keith, you look good.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, everything looks good. Go ahead, Russell. Share yours again. Thank you. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same starting point because if we're not, then it gets a little bit messy. Okay, no, you gotta expand it, man. Expand it.
Yeah,
Drill down.
I had it expanded.
Delete it.
I hit delete. Nothing happens. I right click. Delete is grayed out.
Okay, because are you opened on a sheet right now? Let's see. So go ahead and double. You're on L1 architecture, and you can't delete L2
No,
either?
no. If I close this and hit delete, nothing happens. Right click. I can hit that. Oh well, crap. I opened it up one too many, I guess.
All right, and then just right click on the L2 architectural and delete that one.
That was weird. Okay. There we go. Thank
We
you.
good?
Yep.
All right.
Okay, I shut everything down on the left side. How do you open that back up? That screen on the left side of the screen.
Share your screen and I'll walk
I,
you through it.
yeah.
And this is good for everyone else to know as well, okay? And since we're starting with a blank side, perfect. All right. So if for some reason you get into here and you're like, crap, all of my menus are gone, I don't see anything. Go ahead and right click right where you're at. And there's two things we want to do. First off, we want our properties. So very bottom, there's our properties. So go ahead and click that. So if you need to get those back, and we're going to reorganize this in a second. So let's go ahead now and grab that gray bar where it says properties, click and drag that whole thing to the left.
This one.
Yep. There you go. Perfect. Okay. So now let's grab that again and drag it so it actually turns blue on the left-hand side. And you can't do it when it's in the resize mode. You have to make sure that the arrow's on it. So click that arrow, drag it to the left-hand side of the white. There you go. Perfect. You got it. All right. So now resize it, and now we got on our left-hand side. Okay, so that's step
Awesome.
one. Okay. Step one, properties, mandatory. The other thing that we use is our project browser. So right click again, go down to browsers, and go to project browser. Perfect. Go ahead and click that. Same thing, go ahead and undock that up there and try to dock it underneath the properties. So just go ahead and try that. I know it's a little tricky, but give it a go. So click and drag that to the left bottom of the properties, and it should turn a blue box that's only like the
Oh,
bottom half of the
that might be
property.
the reason right there not having.
All right, so now grab it again, drag it to the bottom left area of the properties, and the blue box should show up. I know it's tricky.
Hmm.
You got to have you're in the resize. So make sure, move your mouse. So make sure, there you go. Now grab it right there and then just drag it over. Oh, you got to grab that properties bar. And there you go. Grab that, drag it to the left, and then see if you can get it to sit down at the bottom.
You have to have it highlighted, right? The blue.
It has to highlight blue. And then once you highlight blue, just let go and it'll drop into place. The other thing is you can put that on the other side of your screen if you want to. You can not have it docked, whatever
Question.
you want to do.
If I do this, would it be easier to get it there?
Maybe. You got to get to your pointer though first. And we want to make sure that all that stuff that we talked about deleting, we get deleted. So let's go ahead and let's get that in there real quick. Again, anyone else that's, and I'm sorry, with Zoom, I can't take control of your mouse like I used to be
Yeah.
able to.
Well, do I have it in the right spot then, or
I
grabbing
mean,
it?
if you want to see what mine looks like, I can share mine again.
Okay.
but I have it on the bottom left. Now you can just dock it to the right-hand side if you want it over there. Just drag it over to the right. It'll dock easier.
Let's,
But right there, it's going to be blocking. Like if you zoom in, it's going to be blocking part of your screen because it's hovering over the top of that
so if
window.
I went straight down, shouldn't it literally set it again or?
I don't know. It's tricky. I tell you, it's tricky. Even for someone that does it all the time, it's tricky. So
We do this.
yeah, maximize that. Grab that project browser right there. Take it to the bottom left of that properties. So like downward, it's like identity data. Drag it to like right there.
That's weird. Is that gonna be weird?
There you go. You got it. All right.
All
And
right.
now, before we do anything else, please, everyone else, that if you haven't done this so far, please let's expand all of those plus buttons.
In the
And there
projects,
you can
right,
just hit
brother?
delete. There you can just hit delete. So click that, hit delete. You don't need to go down to that level on those ones.
Oh,
I think you can just do it from right there. Maybe, maybe not.
yeah, it's not letting me delete it.
All right, so right click, delete it. Why won't it let you delete things?
Hmm.
Click above it and just hit delete there. There you go. So just hit the delete key, the actual delete, not the insert or right below
Yeah.
the insert. There you go. Clear all those out. Perfect. Now expand schedules and quantities. So expand that with the plus button on the left-hand side.
Well, that's weird. It keeps bouncing up. All
And
right.
then expand both those and then delete all of those as well. All right. Yep, get rid of those legends. And then the last thing is all those floor plans, and you've got to expand them all the way down. So click that again and then delete those right there. Yep, perfect. Okay, we want to leave L1 architectural, but all the rest of those I want to get
All
rid of.
right.
Is there anyone else that's needs help doing this? Because this is a big, big part of setting up our template tonight.
You check mine real quick.
Yep, looks great.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right. So for everyone else that's already here, before I continue further, I want to go ahead, okay? And there is some elevations on this outside, okay? They're there. I don't really care about them. I want to put our own in. So I'm actually going to click that and hit the delete key. Okay, so I want to click all of these circles around.
Can you share your screen,
Can't see
please?
your
Oh,
screen.
yep. Sorry. Thought I was. Thank you. All right. Let me hit undo a couple times. All right. So does everyone's screen look like this? I could even go here real quick. If would it help if I made mine white? Just so we're all the same.
It looks good.
It looks good now. I'm just gonna hit cancel. I'm gonna leave it how it is. Okay. So you should be here again. The only thing that we have is this L1 architectural. Okay, which I'm gonna actually right click and I'm gonna rename it to L1 floor plan. Okay, so let's go ahead and rename that to L1 floor plan. And then we're gonna clean up this drawing here. So there's a few things in this view that I'm seeing that I don't care about. Um, if you want to leave this north here, I don't care. That's fine. I don't think it really is great because it's already specifying a scale that we have to be at. So let's go ahead and click any of these circles. So all four of these circles around here, you can hold Control if you want to select multiple items and then hit that delete button. Again, when I refer to delete, it's always the delete button that's underneath the insert button, not your backspace button. Okay. So I can hit delete there. I'm going to delete both of these, and we're going to be left with a plain workspace. All right, thumbs up when you are at this stage. Cool. Right on. All right, so before we save this, I want to go ahead and I want to put a couple section views in here, and then we're going to save this as a template. So let's go ahead and go to the Insert tab again. So this is called your ribbon for people that may not have watched last week's video, or we kind of went through it a little quickly. We have what's called a ribbon along the top of our Revit. Now, there's a lot of things here. You probably don't have anything from this evolve all the way to this new former, right? You probably don't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other add-ins. And that's fine, okay? You don't need to use them. These are all stuff I use during the day at work, okay? So it should just go architectural, structural, steel, precast systems, insert, annotate, analyze, massing and site, collaborate, view, manage, add-ins, and then modify should be your last tab. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over to the fifth tab over, which is, sorry, I want to go to the view tab. We're going to go to this tab here, the view tab. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 over. So it's probably 3 away from the end on your screen. And what I want to do is I want to create what's called a section view. Now, does anyone know what a section view is? What does a section view do?
Details.
Say that
Cutting through
again?
something.
Breaks out a detail.
Okay, details. Okay, what else? Josh, what were you saying?
You're cutting through something. It's like if you're gonna like cut through like a wall or
Correct.
something.
Right. So we're going to be looking at it's an elevation view, but not just an exterior, right? It's going to be an elevation view that we're controlling where that section is being cut. Okay. So I work with 2 section views all the time. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click this section view. Now, you'll notice that we've got a couple different types of section views, a building section, wall section, working section. For our class, we can just use building section. That's fine. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and click somewhere in. Let's call this quadrant 1. We'll call this 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm gonna click somewhere in quadrant 1 and drag down to quadrant 3. And it's gonna create a section view right here that when you click on it, okay, what you've got going on here is what's called depth clipping, or
Holy crap.
your far clipping offset. And this is what determines how far you're looking. So maybe you only want to look at one wall. Maybe you want to look all the way through a building. Okay, this determines how far you're going to look. And you can see that represented numerically over here by this far clip offset. So right now it's saying, hey, I'm viewing 5 feet, 9 and 71 1/28ths of an inch, right? So as I drag this out, you can see now I'm looking 11 feet deep. Maybe I'm only looking 2 feet deep, okay? So this right here, the far clipping offset, determines how far you are going to look in that section view. And we'll get into this more, not a big deal. Okay, so but let's go ahead and have one section view. And since these are going to be working section views, I typically will take one of these heads at the bottom and hit this cross section tail twice. Oh, I don't have another head. I guess we leave heads on both sides. No big deal. Normally I put a tail on it, but there's not a tail loaded in this
Mhm.
project. So
I'm having an issue with my ribbon. I only have like six. When I hit the view, go to view, I
can
only have like six items on it.
okay, go ahead and share your screen.
So,
You probably are, let's see. We got a couple things. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So what's happened to your screen, and it looks a little different than my screen right now, and that's because of the little button to the right of modify. There's this little arrow button. Go to the right of that modify tab. Keep that all the way maximized, please.
oh, okay. I can't see the recording meeting recording
Oh,
is
can you just
covered.
drag it to a different area or just
Oh,
minimize it?
no, that doesn't. Yeah, let me switch screens. Oh, actually, you're not able to see it over there. All right. Um, yeah, because it gets in the way of my being able to even see my program.
Okay. So
I
can
just
you
have to hit OK then, right? Yeah, because my share and everything else is right in that area.
Okay, well then just
I got
minimize it
it.
whatever
Never
you need
mind.
to
I got it
just
moved.
okay.
All right.
So
So
now I want you to go, yep. And right now it's on cycle through all. So I want you to go ahead and just click that again.
just click it again.
Yep.
Right
Not
there.
not not the right hand side of it. Okay, so just click off of it real quick. You're clicking that right arrow.
Oh,
I want you just to click that. There you go.
oh,
Click it again. Click it again.
all right.
Da-da-da!
Oh my God.
Okay, so that changes the look of your ribbon. So it will simplify it down to almost nothing, or we'll expand it to everything. Okay, so now you can click that section right under view, right there. There you go. Go ahead and click in quadrant one and go down to, oh, do it again. Click once, there you go. Click, keep it 90, make sure it's 90. Okay, and then go ahead and click again to set that. Perfect. Cool. All right.
Yep.
Yep, you're good to go. All right. Now we're gonna do one more thing real quick. Okay, and I'm gonna take the share back. And just like AutoCAD, right? In AutoCAD, there was a bunch of ways to do the same thing, right? So I could do this by coming here and clicking section and clicking from here to here, right? To make one facing north south. I could also, because I like to use my tools, I could also copy this using my copy command up here. Okay, so whenever you click on an object, you'll see that by default it's left with whatever tab you had open last. But once you click on an object, if it's able to be modified, this modify tab automatically opens up. Okay, and so now I could go ahead and copy this using my copy. And I could take the same thing and use my rotate command and rotate it 90 degrees. Okay, so that you can do it either way, but what we want to do is we want to have two section views, one of them that is going north and south, which is facing east and west. So I'm actually going to come here and rename this from section one. Okay, so in your properties, if you click that section, you can now rename that. And instead of calling it section one, I'm going to call it east hyphen west. And I'm going to click on my other one and call it north south. And the reason I'm doing that is this is the direction that this looks. So we won't take these. We probably won't rotate these ever. All we're going to do with these is utilize them to drag them around, look at things. And if you need to view a different direction, right, instead of viewing east right now, I could click this toggle right here and we can view the other direction, right? So that allows me to view east or west, and this one allows me to view north or south. Does anyone want a repeat on any of that?
Yes, just the section build.
The whole section build?
Just the one you just did, yeah.
Just rotating it or building it from like copying it?
Copying it.
Okay, so let's go ahead. I'll go ahead and delete this. Okay, I'm going to select this first one. All right, I'm going to use my copy command up here. Again, once you choose an item, this modify tab automatically opens up for you. We're going to use the copy command up here. CO is also the keyboard shortcut. So AutoCAD, we would type in copy, right? Or we had a command line where we actually would type a full word. This is now just 2 to 3 letter keyboard shortcuts. And all day, I typically never end up coming up to this ribbon because anything I use more than once in a day, I build a keyboard shortcut for so I don't have to come up here. Keeps my workflow a little cleaner and keeps my mouse from going all over the place all day. So, but for this class, I will typically demonstrate it out of the ribbon. I try to anyways. If there's any point that I did something that you're like, what just happened? Please let me know and I'll try to back up. So I'm going to use this copy command. I'm going to copy this. Now, when we copy it, there's 2 things that it wants to do. Just like in AutoCAD, right? You want to click once. It's going to set the base point, so where you want to copy from, and then you can drag and click again to where you want to copy to. Okay, so that's step 1. And once you're done with any command, you hit escape 1 or 2 times to get out of it and get back. Okay, so it may be 1 time to just get out of the command. It may be 2 times to get out of that current command and then exit the actual command. So now that we've got one copied over here, I'm going to use my rotate tool. Now you'll notice that since I copied this from something that was already named, this now says East West 1. So I'm going to go ahead real quick and rename this North South. And I'm going to use my rotate command up here to rotate it. Now, when you click the rotate command, just like before, you go ahead. It doesn't matter where you start from. All that matters is you click, give it a direction. So I could go ahead and like be painstakingly like try to get to that 90. Or as long as I give it a direction, I can type in 90 on my keyboard and hit enter, and it will rotate that true 90. So a couple different ways to do that. And then last but not least, we could always just come back here and click view section and draw a section from quadrant 3 to quadrant 4, and it will be facing north. And rename this north south. All right. Any questions on sections? I know we haven't touched base on what they really do yet, but do you have both of these drawn? Thumbs up on your screens.
Oh, and just for clarification, were you looking for the section with just one singular head and a tail, or the one that's on your screen? Oh, well, it's fine.
I was gonna put a tail on this. I don't care right now. They
I
don't
think there's
have
a I think there's a pre-made template. I think one of the section templates, the wall section specifically, has just like the one head and a tail.
maybe that's what's going on. Is it? Let's see.
Yeah,
No,
like
I changed it to a wall section. It doesn't change. Let's go to a working section.
I try to draw a new one because mine looks like just the one head and the tail when I just drew a wall section.
Okay, so let's just see. If I go to section, you saying if I draw, you're right. That does have a tail on it. So either way, it looks like the building section just doesn't have that. I don't care one way or the other what you use. So I'll just leave this as a building section. So, but thank you for pointing that out. All right, so before we get any farther, let's go ahead and save tonight's project. Okay, now I don't want to just go ahead and click File, Save, and we'll save it. Okay, this is a really important step. In the next couple weeks, we will be opening up this template and adding to it. Okay, so this is technically what's called a project template, and that's what we're going to save it as. So go up to File. We're going to go to Save As, and I want to save as a template. Okay, not a project. I want to save it as a template.
Hey, Graham,
Yes.
just on the you were saying you renamed the one that you made the copy of, right?
I did. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter what this one that's facing east or that's going north and south, but the far clipping is going east or it's going west. I called that
Yeah.
one east west. I called this one north south.
Okay. I mean, where do you change the name of it on it when
So if you
you're
click in here,
yeah.
scroll down in your properties, and you'll see a view name. It should say like section 1 right now.
Okay. Oh wow, I'm not getting that. Uh, if I'm on the
Go
second
ahead and
one that I
share.
made,
Go ahead and share, please.
okay.
Okay, so it's right there on your left-hand side. It just says section 2 right now. So go ahead and
Oh,
click
okay.
there, and then just delete all that, and now you can type in north. Well, you clicked off of it. So now
Oh,
click back into it, delete that, type in north hyphen south. I don't know if you
oh, that
want
was great.
caps like that. North out.
Yeah,
Oh, that's even better. Orth out.
north out. There we
Perfect.
go.
Okay, and then click on your other one that's running vertical. Now that one right there, I want you to delete, I think. Zoom in on it real quick.
This
Is it
one?
truly going vertical? Okay, it is. It is. You had a jagged line on it for a second.
Yeah,
Don't hit that. That's gonna split it into segments.
yeah. I've noticed that.
Yeah. So, but you
Okay.
want to make sure that these are truly at 90-degree increments, right? At
Yeah.
that. So then go ahead and just that one's selected. Go ahead and rename it East West. Anyone else before we save this template? Again, this is a big deal to get this all right. If we don't get it right now, then next week when we open up, it won't be the same. Okay, so let's get that. I don't care how far you're off anything else is. I just want to have both of those sections there.
Hey, Graham.
Yes.
I just have one question. So when you rename something on your properties, do you have to hit apply or will it automatically
It will
change once you
automatically
add
do it if you just click off of it or just move your mouse.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank
good
you.
question. So let me share my screen again and we'll look at that. All right, so this one right now, if I wanted to name this East West Graham, okay, I can hit enter. That'll hold. I can also just move my mouse off of that properties area. But until you move that your mouse or hit apply, it's going to keep it like if I don't hit apply, it's not going to do anything until I move my mouse off of this and then it will apply it. Does that make sense?
Yep, got it.
So,
I just didn't know if it would save if you didn't hit apply.
yeah, all you have to do is hit enter and it'll apply it. Or just click off of it and it'll apply it too. So,
Copy. Thank you.
yep, thank you. Oh, finally got it. I've got this stupid little fly that's been buzzing across my screen. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to flip this section just so it's facing inward. And I'm going to go ahead and click File. Got File, Save As, right? And we're going to go to template. It's gonna pop this up, okay? I don't care where you put it. I'm just gonna make a folder in my documents called construction 246 winter 2026. And I'm gonna call this construction 240 246 template. And actually, I'll do it one better. I'm gonna call it project template. Okay, we're gonna get into other types of templates called view templates later in the uh in the course, but not to be confused with this project template. So go ahead and name it project template. You want to make sure it's saving as a .rte. That's a Revit template file, and click save. And you'll notice at the top, instead of saying project one, it should now say construction 246 project template.rte. All right. Does everyone have that?
Graham,
Yes.
I have a what is called a HDD.
Huh?
I have HDD, which is a separate storage
Oh,
for
a
this
separate hard
computer
drive. That's fine. I don't care. You can save it on that. No problem.
because I mean, if I pull it out of that, will that slow down the computer?
No, I mean not necessarily. I mean it's gonna be it's fine either way. It's just gonna auto load it, and then once it's loaded, it's fine. So,
Yeah, what I'm saying is that that disk has a larger space, so I
but
want to
that's
put.
fine. That's what I'm saying. You can save it there if you want to. It's not a
All
huge
right,
this file size though. Literally, this file size. I mean, Revit is large. I get that, but this file size is like 37 megs.
all right,
So these project files are not that huge. So. And yeah, I don't care where you save it, doesn't matter. You can save it on external drive, you can save it on a local disk, doesn't matter to me. The only thing is if you save it on an external drive, you need to make sure you have that all the time so we can access it, right? So like if you took your laptop someplace and then you tried to open up your template, you couldn't open it up because it's not saved locally.
right.
So it doesn't matter, but I would suggest probably just saving locally. It's not that big of a file.
Thanks.
All right.
Hey, when you say that it says it on top, the RTE on it, it just mine says Autodesk 226 and has a 4 and then says construction project template
Dot R
4L1.
Does it say .rte?
I don't see any of that up there,
Okay,
but
then let me share your screen again, please.
I mean, it might be because it's too long. I don't know.
No, we just
Neither mine.
neither does yours.
It
Yeah, but
says it as the temp or as the file,
It
like
might if
type
you
that you're saving, but it doesn't actually put it in the
it doesn't
title.
say it up there. Okay, but if I click on that,
so when I click
if
on
you click on that, it says an
yeah,
RTE. You're great.
yeah,
You're perfect.
okay,
So it looks like 2026 doesn't put that file extension on there anymore.
okay,
So
that's what I
that's why
figured.
mine looked different. No big deal. Please just go that route so we can save it correctly.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you'll save it as a project, and then we don't want that.
yep. No,
Okay,
I just wanted to double check because that's kind of what I figured.
perfect. Right on. Yep.
Thanks.
Nope. Thank you for bringing that up too, because again, other people may have had that same issue with the top. All right. So let's go ahead and we're gonna close Revit. Oh my God, we're gonna close it. That's fine. Go ahead and close it all together. And then go ahead down here and type in Revit or whatever you need to do and bring it back up so we get back to the splash screen. So I want to delete, sorry, not delete. I want to shut everything down once you've saved your template.
Can you
And
share your screen?
huh? Yes, I'll share it back up. There's nothing there yet. But 3. There you go. So closed Revit down altogether once I saved my template. And I'm now opening Revit back up just to get to the splash screen. Okay, so I want to close that template all together, close Revit altogether, and reopen. Yes, we could probably do it with it open, but I want to make sure that it gets a refresh, a fresh start. Okay.
So after that, you want us to just load the project template?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I don't want you to do anything. Wait.
Sounds good.
Nope, I don't want you to load the project template because what's going to happen is you're going to go straight back into the project template and not what I want to do. All right, come on. Come on, little buddy.
It's cool to see yours taking this long to load because it makes me feel like
Yeah, no,
everything's
it's good,
normal.
man. Revit's a big program. It's huge. It's this is all once this loads, it's fast to open our small projects. Once this loads for me, it takes another hour and a half to open mine for work. But all
Right.
right. So we'll get back here and we'll come to the splash screen. Okay. So now what I want to do, okay, I want to before we move forward, let's get thumbs ups for everyone that's back on their splash screen. Okay, looks like most everybody's there. We'll give it another 30 seconds for anyone that still needs to load. All right. So let's go ahead, and this is important, okay? I want to go to same thing we did before, okay, where we went to models and new, except we've got one more step that we're going to do today, okay? So I'm going to go to new, and instead of choosing the default template file, I want to click browse. I want to go find that template file, right? So I didn't save it inside of Revit, right? I saved it back on in my documents. I put a folder together, and here is the template file that we created. Okay, so I want you to browse to wherever you save that file. If you click open, it will then load that right here. And I want to create a new project, right? So the project radial button is still clicked, but I'm loading this template file to create a new project from. Once I've got both of those looking the way I want it, I'm going to click OK. And now you will see we have created a brand new project, probably called Project 1 or Project 2. And it's exactly how we left it before. Any questions there? Should I open that again? Okay, just because I want to make sure, I'm going to close this, get back to my splash screen. I'm going to click open. I'm going to click new. I'm going to browse, use this browse tool to go look for the file that you just saved, right? I saved mine just right here in my documents. I made that folder, right? And I'm going to load that template. Once I've got that template selected, I'm going to click open, and it will now show construction 246 project template. And I'm going to create a new project from that template and click OK. All right. Any questions?
Yes.
Yes. What do we got?
On the floor plan, on the left-hand side, options, I have graphics, I have underlaid, but on top of the graphics,
Here,
you have construction. Is that a big deal if I don't have it?
here, can you share your screen?
All right. Actually,
So what are you saying?
Right here, you see, I scroll all the way up and I only have graphics, but I don't have construction as you do.
Oh, don't worry
Good.
about it. That's
All right.
that's
I
part
just
of that's
want to
part
make
of no, don't worry about that. So sorry. Again, some of my add-ins give you extra stuff on the side. Okay. So these EV package, all this, that's just mine. Yours probably just says graphics. Okay. This down here where I've got these some EV stuff, that's all part of my Evolve electrical add-in. Okay, which you guys don't have and we're not going to use.
You got to
Okay,
share again.
so
yeah, I stopped sharing mine, so you
Yeah.
can share yours.
oh, so like, we'll go ahead and share. So like on the left-hand side of mine, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So on the left-hand side, I have some parameter fields in here that say EV at the front of them or evolve at the front of them. Okay. Right here, there's some right here, there's some up here in this construction area. Okay. That's all due to an add-in that I have. We're not going to use it. Okay. But that's due to this add-in. So I can't take it off, but I can hide it. So I should be able to there. So I can hide that if that helps. So if there's things that you see on my screen that aren't on yours, don't worry about it. Like I have lots of thousands and thousands of dollars of extra gear. Okay. So it's just things that help my workflow and help me model for my day job. So any questions besides that there was stuff that maybe not on yours? Okay. Let's go ahead and take our break. We're gonna take we'll give it I don't know, we'll give it 12 minutes. So 7:35. I'm gonna stop the recording. For those of you that like to remind people of things, please remind me to start the recording again. I'm just gonna pause it and we'll meet back at 7:35 to do the second part of the lecture. Okay, so 12-minute break. Go stretch your legs, get some water, grab a bite to eat, whatever you need to do. Okay, thank you. Recording. Perfect. All right. I don't know if you get some type of message or not or whatever, but anyhow, so now that we are done taking care of the housekeeping for today, we're gonna go ahead and get going on drawing and get going with this class. So thank you guys so much for your patience and getting everyone set up. And I know it's a lot of moving parts to get everyone dialed in. Um, but yeah, now that we all are, I think we will have a wonderful semester. So today we are going to start drawing a house of some type. Okay, most weeks we're going to draw some type of, basic residential structure. Um, we're not going to get into commercial stuff in this class. This is based mainly just basic architectural drawing. Um, but that being said, we're going to be putting in walls, windows, doors, and then, all types of the other pieces that we have, all the other families that we have to throw in here. So let's go ahead and start by drawing a wall. Now, first off, when you click a wall, okay, when I click this wall, that's not the end of it. Sure, I can just start drawing a wall, right? But that's not the end of it, right? So when I select that wall, I now have a lot of other things that I can do with that wall. For instance, if I click this drop down at the top of our properties, you are going to see all types of different walls. And if I scroll up and down, you'll see we got concrete walls, we've got exterior walls, right? We got wood siding on wood studs, we've got brick and CMU on metal studs, we've got some foundations, okay? We've got some generic walls, generic 8-inch is what it starts with. And then we also have some interior walls. Okay, and then there's also some stacked walls and some curtain walls, so like storefront glazing, that kind of stuff. So Today, I don't really care what you want to choose. That's up to you. I'm probably going to choose something that might show a little bit of fun when we go to view it with some shading. So I'm going to use this wood siding on wood stud. So, and once I click on it, okay, I have the wall selected. But am I done? Not in a long shot, right? There's other things in this properties that make Revit work the way it does. So like the other part about building information modeling, right? Remember the biggest thing I've talked about is that right? That information. Well, information doesn't necessarily have to be in a form of, oh, this is on this certain work set, or this is on this, this set of plan revisions is when this came into play, or, maybe this is, has certain, cubic feet of air movement to it. It's got all types of things that it can control and give you, but it also can make it so that instead of just something being arbitrary a wall, we can give it the information for the wall to be 10 feet tall. Right? So that type of information in there is huge. It's not just about what, other parameters you can schedule to get out of it. This is huge. That height right there, right? Maybe I want this to be 15 feet tall. Okay? I can change that height at any given time. And now when I start drawing this wall, it will be 15 feet tall. So let's go ahead, just to keep it simple. I'm going to make it 10 feet tall. Okay. And I'm going to check, is this what we want? Yes, I got a 10-foot tall. I'm not connected to a top constraint. We'll get into that later. Today we're just worrying about drawing. And we're not necessarily even worrying about drawing what I'm drawing necessarily. Maybe follow the same shape or something, but my dimensions and, maybe I draw this wall 25 feet. I don't care if you draw it 25 feet or 50 feet tonight. Okay, we're just trying to get some content on there. So, like I said, I checked this. Yep, that's what I want for the wall. I want it to be 10 feet tall. Now that I've got both of those, I can start coming over here and drawing. Now, once I click, it's going to set the first spot or the left-hand side, or I typically draw left to right in a clockwise motion, right? I also take off things left to right. So like I learned, I went to school for construction management, just like you guys are doing. I've done lots of quantity takeoffs, both digitally, by hand. I mean, I've done lots and lots and lots of takeoffs. And I always start, top left and move my way right, then come down and move my way right. So anyhow, that's kind of my preference. I'll typically always draw that way. But that doesn't mean you guys have to. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is click once. Once I click, and you'll notice by default, we're drawing a straight line. Now, if you took AutoCAD, you'll know that if you drew a line and you ended that line, then you have to draw another line, right? Or if you used a polyline, it would continue drawing. This is automatically going to continue drawing for you. So if I go ahead and click once, I'm going to draw over, let's just say, I don't know, let's go 35 feet or, 25. And if I wanted to give it an exact distance, but I didn't want to get like so precise of like having to zoom in and get exactly what I want to do, since that blue dimension or what's called a temporary dimension is active, it's blue, I could go ahead and just type in 50 and hit enter, and it will give me a 50-foot wall. Okay, so you can see that 50 feet long. I'm going to delete it, draw another one. Once you've drawn one wall, that will take your default. Okay, so any other wall you draw after that is going to use that same setting. So again, I'm going to draw, I don't know, we'll just draw over here, 59 feet. I don't care what it is. We'll go 30 feet this way. I don't know, 25 feet this way. And again, all I'm doing is moving my mouse and clicking, right? I'm just giving it an outline. Maybe I want this for a little door. And you'll see that Revit's really smart. Okay, it's wanting to give me what's called these temporary dimensions, which we are seeing right now. You can see it's at 14 feet, 13.6, right? When I move that wall, it's giving me a dimension to it. It's also really smart and is looking at what's around it. And it sees that that's where the end of that other wall is. So it's going to give me what's called a temporary reference plane and say, hey, that's straight up from there. Would you like to snap there? Yes, I would. And I'm going to go ahead and join those walls and hit escape to exit the command. Now, if you don't like the way something's looking, right? Maybe a wall is too long, maybe it's too short. You can come in after the fact and grab this wall and literally just drag it. We can drag this whole thing down. We could drag this over, drag that over, right? Once you have the basic geometry that you want, tweaking it's super easy and it all moves together. So right now we're looking at this in plan view, okay? But let's go ahead and look at this in a 3D view. Okay, so before we get too far, I want to look at this in 3D and show you that not only is it doing what it's doing in plan view, but it will also do that in 3D. So if I come up here, there's this little thing up here, it looks like a doghouse or a little house. If you click that button, it will open up a brand new default 3D view. And I'm going to go ahead and click it. And you can see, and there's some stuff in the outlines, and yes, we can get rid of that. I'll show you how to do that at a later date. But you can see that not only can I move it in plan view, right? And I'm actually going to tile this real quick. And so some people like this, some people don't. And that's fine. If you like it, if you don't like it, that's fine too. I'm going to hit, I think it's WT. There you go, WT. What I'm doing is I'm essentially bringing both of these views in so you can see them both at the same time, right? We can. Oh, sorry. Grab some water for a second. All right. So we have our plan view over here, and you'll notice that what happens in my plan view doesn't just stay in my plan view, right? If I drag this whole thing and drop it, you'll see that that wall moves with it, right? So everything is tied together. It doesn't matter what view you're looking at it. Maybe it's a floor plan view. Maybe it's a 3D view. Maybe it's what's called a section view. Okay, and I'm going to show you that right now. So I'm going to close this tiling. I know it kind of drives some people crazy. Just believe me that whatever's happening is going to happen in other views. But I'm going to go ahead and open up. So I close that. If you want to reopen up a floor plan, you can just double click over here in your project browser. So now I have that level 1 floor plan open. I also have that 3D view open in its own tab. And I'm also going to open this section view. So this section view, let's go ahead and use this north-south section view real quick. And I want you to drag it so it's just outside of your building. And I want you to grab this drag arrow for the far clip offset and drag it in so at least you're seeing all of those exterior walls on this side. I don't care how far in you want it. We're just looking at the exterior of this building. Once I've got it selected the way or viewed the way I want it, appropriately positioned and have the far clip offset far enough. Two things I could do. I could double click this. I don't like double clicking it. It seems like it doesn't work very well. So I always just right click and click go to view. And now I have a section view. And you can see that there's a spot right here, right, where you've got some darker lines, right? That's that area that I set up for my front door, right? That area that I is not in line with this, right? So it's out here. I'm looking at this section view, and same thing in this section view, I could grab this wall, I could drag it all the way in. We could look at it in 3D, it's now all the way in. We can look at it in 2D, it's all the way in, right? So every view in Revit works together. Nothing is like AutoCAD where we have an individual elevation that doesn't tie to the actual structure or the floor plan. So I know I just covered a lot, but any questions before I move on to the next area?
Graham, can you just go over cutting the section view one more time?
Sure. So go ahead and take this section. Okay, I don't care where maybe it's probably somewhere around here. Grab that section. If you click and you hold it, it'll move. And you can move it to wherever you need to. Again, somewhere outside of the south side of your building, and then grab the far clip offset. So that's this dashed line. Drag it so you're at least looking in. Because if I only have it right here, what do you guys expect to see?
We'll just see that entrance or that
You're just going to see that
half view.
entrance,
Yeah.
right? So, but if I change that offset to 15 feet, now you can see those other walls, right? Because I'm now looking far enough in. Okay, so that's really, if you're not seeing something in a section view, your far clip offset probably isn't cutting all the way into it. Last but not least, two ways to get to that view. You could open up this in your project browser on the left-hand side, you could open up and expand these sections and either double click one or the other. Again, we're on north, this is our north-south section, so I can double click that. It would open up. You can also, and I use this much more often than going to my project browser, which would just be select it, right click, and then go to view.
That was the step I was missing, was the right click. Thank you.
Right click, go to view. Yep, there you go. And again, you can always get there by all your views are available on your left-hand side in your project browser. So before we get too far with tonight, I want to go ahead and make sure everyone saves their file. So let's go up here and do a file, save as, and this time we're just going to save it as a project, okay? So I just want to save it as a project. I'm going to put it in my folder. I'm going to call it class 2 winter 2026. And you'll see that right here, it's saving as a .rvt. So an RVT is a Revit file, it's an actual project file, versus before we created an RTE, which is a Revit template file. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and save that, and you'll see that in your top, it should now say whatever you named that file. Just before we get too far into it, and then we don't save it and someone loses something, and yeah. So now that it's saved, it will also save backup copies for you about every 10 minutes. So if you need to recover something, we can go over how to do that. All right, so we went ahead. I've got a basic structure here, right? Couple walls, little entryway, right? Nothing fancy. We're not getting crazy tonight. What else do we need in here? I don't care about interior. What else exterior do we need? Let's work on that exterior first.
Doors and windows.
What was that?
Doors and windows.
Doors and windows. Perfect, right? And well, just like we have this nice wall command, we also have a nice door and a window command, right? Doesn't get much easier than this, guys. So we're going to go ahead and click that door. And same as before, right? Everything, you start with one type of family, right? We're choosing door types. Now we can click this drop down and we can see all the different doors that are loaded in this project right now. So I'm actually going to put a nice big, they don't have great exterior doors that are preloaded. I'll just put this 36 by 96 in, this nice big 3 foot wide by 8 foot tall front door. And once I select it, you'll notice that if I drag my mouse over, it gives me a big, I can't do anything with this. It's not going to place a door like a block, right? It's not going to just take that block and allow you to place it anywhere you want. It will, however, allow you to place that door on a wall, on a place where there's something to host it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and place it just like that. And yes, I went ahead and I placed it off center on purpose. Okay, so I don't care where you place it. If you want to place it on this wall, if you don't have this little alcove area, that's fine too. I don't care. Okay, tonight's just about getting stuff on here. Now, if you want to be really anal like me, and it's like, hey, why would you put this in here and not center that door? We can take care of that. So I don't like doing math. I mean, I really do like doing math. I love doing math, but I don't want to do math when it comes to this type of stuff. I don't want to like have to, okay, so if that's 4'4" over and that's 1'6", if I make them both three, I don't care about that. I don't want to do that type of math. Can I do it? Sure. I don't care. Let's let Revit do it for us. So once you've placed a door, we can come up here to our annotate tab. And we're going to use what's called an aligned dimension. Okay, so this is the most common dimension that we're going to use in this class. We may use some of the others, but this one covers like all of our bases. So it works great no matter what you want to do with it. So we're going to click the aligned dimension, and I'm going to click the center line, and you'll notice the center line comes up by being dashed. Now, if I hover over, let's say I hover over this wall and I'm not getting that center line to show up, I can use my tab. Oh, good. You can see that. I can use my tab key to go in a little bit further and actually select the right spot that I want to. So I want to grab that one. I also want to grab the center of this door. I'm going to go ahead and click that. And then last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and click the center of the next wall. So what it's done is it's given me a dimension string. Once I've got my 2 dimensions in there or whatever I'm trying to dimension, I'm going to bring that down. And as long as I'm in any blank white area that's not trying to highlight, I can click and I can set that dimension. Okay, so I'm going to do that one more time. We're going to come up here. We're going to use the aligned dimension command. DI is the keyboard shortcut for those of you that like that. Real quick, I'm going to turn off my thick line, thin line. Some people may like the thick line. It gets really bold when we're trying to, especially with how big this mouse is. I got to turn this down a little bit. But this button right here, this where it's got 3 bold lines on the left and 3 thin lines on the right, that's your thick line, thin line tool. And it allows you to take all basic lines, and if it's on thick line mode, this is how it's going to print. Like that's what's going to print. That's the line weight that's on that line, right? So instead of it just being a super thin line when it prints, it's going to take the characteristics of like a line weight 5. When you click this button here, it moves everything to the thin line weight, and it's much easier to use. So I like using that a lot better. But to each their own. If you like using the thick line button, go for it. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to dimension from the center of the left wall. I'm going to go ahead and click the center of the door. And then I'm going to click the center of the right wall. Once I've got all 3 locations where I want to take dimensions from, I'm going to bring this down, and as long as nothing is highlighting, right? So you see how that's trying to highlight, like let's say, like right there, that's highlighting, right? If I click again, it's going to set that as a dimension. Now, if I don't want it set, you can actually click it again, and it will take that away. So if you accidentally click a line and you don't mean to, oh crap, I don't want that, you can just highlight it again, click it, and set it. So move your mouse anywhere down into white space without it highlighting and click to set that dimension. Any questions on that dimensioning? Last but not least, once that dimension is set, we can click the dimension and use this nice little equals spacing toggle, and we can put that door right in the middle. And if I click it again, it will go from saying EQ on both sides, saying, hey, it's equals distance, to actually giving you the true dimension of where that door center is located. All right, so let's play with that a little bit. Okay, that's just a little demo with it. Let's go ahead and put some windows on this back wall. So if I go back to my architectural tab and I click window, same as before, right? We're left with these properties that will allow us to choose from, 15 different loaded windows that are in here. We can always take any of these and change them, make them bigger, make them smaller, do whatever we want. That's the beauty of parametric parameters. So I'm going to go ahead and just use this 36 by 48. I'm going to put the sill height. Again, remember the information is not just about like what the window is, but it's also about dimensions, about where it lives, right? So I'm going to put that sill height at, let's go 5 feet. And you'll notice when I put the sill height at 5 feet, since it's a 4-foot tall window, it changed the head height to 9 feet, right? So that did that automatically because it knows how big this window is. So, and let's go ahead and set like 6 or 7 windows on this north wall. Now, one thing when you're dropping windows, and it's the same kind of when you're dropping a door, I'm actually going to do it with a door real quick just so you can see it a little easier. If I hold my mouse on like the south side of this wall, okay, that opening is going to swing that way. If I hold it on the north side, right, that little shift of my mouse just north or south of that center line will flip the door. Okay. Once I set it, I could always come back. I could use these toggles to flip it backwards and forward or open left and right. So, but the same principle is true for windows. So when I grab this window, when I come in here, right now, that window is technically facing inward. We want this little stripe, this little guy on the outside, and that's going to put that glass on the outside and put your windowsill on the inside. So let's go ahead and place a handful of windows on this back wall. Again, remember, I don't care where they're placed right now. We're going to take our dimensioning tool and center them up. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 8 windows on this back wall. Okay, so let's take that same tool that we had before, and just to make sure that everyone's seeing this, right? If I take this section view and I move this to here, and I'm not just moving the far clipping offset, I'm actually moving the whole section line. So where I'm taking a look at this wall is going to be from here facing north. And if I go to view, you can now see all of those windows that we just placed on that wall. Okay, so it doesn't matter, again, it doesn't matter what view you're in, it's always going to report the same picture geometry data in every single view as long as it's showing and what it looks like in that view, right? Because in floor plan, those windows don't look the same as they do in 3D, right? Well, that's because it's represented the way it looks when you're looking straight down. Yes.
Graham, I have a question because
Yes.
and my screen looks a bit different. Like I have windows still, but they're not
Here,
marked, if that makes sense.
let me share.
Yeah, so this is what I'm seeing in my screen where my windows are marked for like,
Oh, it's
let's say when
automatically
you do
tagging
schedule.
them on
Yeah.
yours. Yeah, no big
Do you
deal.
want us to turn that off in some way or for now, or should I
If
just
yours
let
is
that
auto
stay?
tagging them, that's fine. I don't care. We can turn it off later. If you want to, why don't you just real quick, just to appease everybody. Again, there are some differences every year. Something comes up and they add new revisions to it, right? Whatever. Um, if we want to turn those off, okay, let's go ahead and go to, so if you go to the View tab,
The view tab? Okay,
mhm,
one moment.
and we're going to get more into the visibility graphics, but third icon to the left, you've got a right there, it says visibility graphics.
Right there?
Yep. VG is the keyboard shortcut, and we'll get into this more later, but go ahead and click that. I want you to go to annotation categories.
Annotation category?
Yep, so the top, nope, sorry, don't go up,
Oh, there it is. Sorry.
and
Wasn't
then no,
looking.
you're good. And then I just want you to uncheck show annotation categories in this view. No, I don't want you to do that. I want you to type in tag right there. And I want you to select all of those. So scroll all the way down. Click the top one. Nope. Click all.
Right.
Yep. And then turn that and then just click one of the check boxes. There you go.
There you go.
Click
All right.
OK. And that should turn off any annotation tags. There you go.
Yep, that should do it.
So if you're seeing some type of extra stuff, that's why you're seeing them. It just is trying to auto tag it. Not a big deal. All right. So thank you for sharing. Let's go ahead and get back to here. And let's go ahead and do the same thing we did with the door. Okay. Except this time I want to do it with all of these windows. Okay. So I'm going to use my dimension command. DI is my keyboard shortcut. It's also here under the annotate tab in this aligned dimension. Okay. And I'm going to go from center of my left wall to center of every single window. Right, and then you can see that pop up. It'll turn blue. Now, oh crap. I clicked off it. I've got this already set. It's kind of there. I got two options. I can delete it and start over. Right? I could just come back to here and start dimensioning this again and, do that and or you can come up here and once you select this dimension, there's a button up here called Edit Witness Lines. And if you click this, it's going to allow you to add or subtract dimension locations. So if I click this, I can now continue that dimension string. So there, maybe I want all those. Maybe I want that. Oh crap, I got that one. I don't want that one. If you hold Shift and click it again, it will subtract it. So once we've got all of those dimensioned, I'm going to hit that equals. And you now see that I've got all of my windows equally spaced from center to center or center to the center line of the wall at 6 feet and 15/16 of an inch. Now your dimensions are going to be different. What happens if I do this? You ready for this? What happens if I drag this wall? I can re-equalize that. Okay. So if you make changes, you can still update them. So pretty cool little tool. It won't let you drag a wall past a window. Like it's saying, hey, look, I can't draw that there. We're gonna have a window hanging out in space. It won't let you do that. So maybe you want to delete that window and then drag that in. And now we could come back to here, use our equals distance again, And now we're back to 6.5 1/4. So architects really, really, really love this feature. It makes it easy for them to do their job and make things look very symmetrical without a whole lot of effort. Okay, so let's go ahead. I don't care how many windows you put, but let's go ahead and add a different type of window. So let's click window. We'll choose a different type. I'm going to use this window casement double. And let's go ahead and add, and you can see this one's a lot easier to see which way that window opens, right? Because it actually swings open, whereas this window is a slider that actually slides up and down. So it's hard to see that. So let's add a couple more windows all around this building. And give me a thumbs up once you've added your windows, your extra windows around the outside. All right, we'll give it another 30 seconds. So we talked about using a dimension to make it equals, right? Make it equal spacing from something else. Well, what if you wanted to put this window at a particular distance? Okay, so let's use that same command, right? That same align dimension command in your annotate tab, align dimension. And this time, I want to go ahead and click the center line of this, the center line of this window, and I want to set that dimension. Just something like that. Now, earlier we saw that we could use our equals distance, but when you only have one item that's being dimensioned, right, or two items, but there's only one distance between it, you can't really make that equals, right? So one thing that the dimension tool allows us to do is I could move this down. I could just drag this, right? And we've got some temporary dimensions that come up here. But once we have a real dimension in place, we can use that by clicking this window, and you'll see right now that that dimension is black. Once I click this window, that dimension is going to turn blue. And once that dimension turns blue, it allows me to click into it and type in a distance. So maybe I wanted that window from center of wall to center of window at 8'6.5 inches. So 8'6.5. So you can type in 8 space 6 would be 8'6". You can also use your 8'6". You could also, if those of you that like math, if you wanted to type in inches, you could type in 104 inches, 102 inches, 102 inches, or last but not least, you could type in 0 space 102. Any of those combinations, whether it's in feet and inches, if it's in decimal inches, if it's in fractional inches, if it's in fractional feet, okay, they will all work. So I go ahead and set that dimension, and you'll now see that that is 8'6" away from center. So I want to go ahead and set all of these windows a particular distance away. Let's get a dimension brought between the center line of the wall and the window. And I'm going to make both of these at 8'6". Maybe I'm going to make this at something like 4 feet to this first window and then 8 feet between them. Now, if you're doing something like this real quick, so I set this dimension, I set the left-hand side on the center line of this wall, the middle of it on the center of this window, and the right-hand side on the center of the right window. Now, you'll notice I move that center to 4 feet away. So if I click this, both of these dimensions will activate. I can click into it, type in 4 feet, hit enter. Well, what if I want this window to be 8 feet away from this window? Can I type in 8 feet here?
That would make it 8 from the center. So wouldn't you want to use your dimension above? So it's outside to outside or inside to
I'm saying
inside?
center to center right now. Everything's center.
Oh, okay.
So, but if I click this, okay, and I typed in 8 feet, well, I've already done the work to set that at 4 feet from the left-hand side, right? And I still have that window selected. So if I try to tell it I want it 8 feet from this window, all it's going to do is move that window left and right. Okay, so if you want to move another window that's in the string, we need to select the next window and then give it an 8 foot space. And now we can move that over. Instead of trying to move that center one just left and right based on those two endpoints. Okay, I'm going to do that one more time just to make sure everyone's got it. Align dimension, center of this wall, center of window, center of the next window over. If I click this first window and I tell it to be 4 feet away from the wall, it will move it to 4 feet away from the wall. But this dimension here is still controlling this window. So if I try to type in 8 feet here, Revit has no other option except to increase that 4 feet distance to 7'11" because I told it I wanted 8 feet, right? If I want this window truly 8 feet away, I can select the second window and now type in 8 feet, and it will be 8 feet from that first one. So let's go ahead and get dimensions from center lines of your windows all the way around. Put some dimensions in there that make sense. We don't need any crazy like 8 foot 6 and 5/8. So I'm just gonna make that 8 6. Okay, I know is that centered? No, that's okay, right? I just wanted to center these back ones and this door. The rest of them I'm just kind of leaving where they lie, but altering them just slightly so they give me a dimension that I can live with because I don't like weird dimensions. So we'll make this like 7 8, and I'll make this one like 9'2". All right, so we'll give a couple more minutes to finish that out. And then we're going to look at some schedules. So the other part of Revit is not only does it create a pretty picture, but it also can be your quantity takeoff. So if you model it, it lives in the project, it will schedule. Okay, so if I go to my left-hand side and I go over to the schedules area, I can right-click on schedules and quantities and create a new schedule and or quantity. For this one, I want to create a window schedule. I can type in W just to get me down far enough into the category so I don't have to scroll. And I'm going to click on Windows. So it's going to create a new Windows schedule. The phase should be new construction. We shouldn't have to worry about any phasing issues. Yeah. And we're going to click OK. So once we tell it that we want to create a Windows schedule, it's going to come up with another menu that's saying, what would you like to schedule? So we always want to schedule. We always want to schedule oh, sorry. Click back here. We always want to schedule family and type. Okay, and then since it's Windows, maybe I'll do a width. I'll do a height. And last but not least, I always like to do a count. So it's going to schedule the family and type. It's going to tell me how wide they are, how tall they are, and how many of them there are. And when I click OK, it's going to create this window schedule for me. Well, this is useful right now as it is, right? I could give this to somebody and they could order these windows off of there if they knew exactly, what this was, right? Um, but they still have to add a bunch of stuff together. There's still room for human error because, okay, well, how many of these do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh crap, did I miss one? Did I get one wrong? I don't know. Okay, I don't like having to add up a bunch of the same element. So I'm going to go down on the left-hand side in my properties, down to sorting and grouping. And I'm going to sort by family and type. And I'm going to take this itemize every instance off. So when I uncheck that, it's going to combine any of these that are the same into a single line item. And when I click OK, that's a lot easier for me to hand to somebody and get an accurate count, right? Than having someone count up everything one by one. Do you want to go back through a window schedule or should we move on to a wall schedule?
I'm okay with the wall schedule.
Okay, so we'll move on. And now you can see that this schedule actually lives down here, and it's down here, and it's called window schedule. It's in our project browser. So let's go ahead, same thing as we did before. I'm going to right click on this schedule and quantities, new schedule and quantities. This time I'm going to go to walls and create a wall schedule. Now, same as before, we got to go and choose what we want for our properties. So I want to schedule the family and type. I also want to schedule the height. Why doesn't it give me my height? Maybe it gives me my top. I can give my top offset. That'll give me my height. And then I can also get my length. So gives me, and then just because I want to, maybe I want to give an area. Maybe we'll get an area so we know how much.
So if you've already modeled your interior walls and you haven't done a schedule yet, you'd want to throw your interior information in as well, right? Or
Not necessarily.
Does that have to be changed?
Not necessarily. We're going
Okay.
to work on it. We'll look at it right now. That's exactly why we're doing this out of order, quote unquote. So I'm going to go ahead and create that. It's going to schedule all of my exterior walls. Top offset doesn't look like it's reporting that parameter correctly, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to my fields, pull out my top offset, and let's see if we can find something else that might give us a height. Maybe top constraint. Let's see if that does it. No, it's not connected. Huh. Why can't I give a height on that? That's weird. Top unconnected height. There we go. Right there. That's what I want. Perfect. All right. And that should give me my 10-foot height. There you go. Perfect. So now that we've got this, okay, we've got a bunch of different walls. This is kind of useful if I wanted to know the square footage of each wall individually and the length individually. I don't really care right now about knowing all of that. I'm going to take this and go to my sorting and grouping. I'm going to take off itemize every instance. And you'll notice when I do that, it's going to give me an error, quote unquote. It's going to give me something here that says varies, right? So if I click OK, it's probably Sort by family and type, itemize. So right here, it says varies. It doesn't know what to do with this. So what we need to do is tell it what to do with it. So I'm going to actually go to here, go to my length, and I'm going to say I want to calculate totals. I'm also going to go to area, and I'm going to turn on calculate totals. And by doing that, it's going to add all of those together in that line item. And now I can see I've got 177 feet of length of this exterior, of this wood siding on wood stud, exterior wall. The square footage is 1460. I believe that's only a single side of it. And then, oh, well, crap. Maybe I should add my interior walls. So if I come here and now go to interior wall, and let's draw an interior wall from here. Maybe I'll room this off. Maybe we'll do something like this. Maybe something that comes down here. I don't know. We can add more doors in. Anyhow, the point is, I'm adding these walls later, and I click back into this wall schedule, and they're already there. There it is right there. Basic interior wall, 5.5 inch, 1 hour fire fire rating on it. I've got 86 feet. There's my square footage and my height on it. Right. So it doesn't matter when you add anything into the project, it will schedule whenever it's in there. So these schedules, just as the views, are constantly evolving, right? Just like when I click this view, now that I added this wall in here, and I didn't change the height on any of these. So if I actually select all instances of this wall, I'm actually going to change this to unconnected, and I'll make it 10 feet tall. And now all of those walls are 10 feet tall. So it doesn't matter what view you're in, it's always going to report what's accurately modeled. All right, let's look at one other little thing real quick. So you'll notice that when I drew this interior wall and I connected to this exterior wall, it connected center to center, which is fine. But since I have a 5.5 inch interior wall, and I think I've got like a 6.5 inch or 7 inch exterior wall, I guess I can find out. Let's see how wide this is. 7.25. So since I've got a 7.25, these walls being aligned center to center don't line up. Okay. So a couple ways we could go about this. And the best one, in my opinion, is the align command. So let's go to the modify tab. Okay. And let's use this tool right here. So it's this little blue box with a larger gray rectangle. AL is the command for it. And what I'm going to do, and we're going to do this in conjunction with our tab key, right? Remember earlier I talked about the tab key allows you to select different elements, right? Maybe there's a couple different things in the wall, right? That center line, that edge line, the center line, right? It'll allow you to cycle through them. So what I want to do is I want to align the inside of this wall to the edge of this wall. And when you use your align tool, you always do where you want to align first. So this is where I want to align. And this is what I want to align. So it's where first, what second. And now I can use that align tool to put those two walls, even though they were modeled just a hair off, now I can shift that over and make that perfectly aligned with each other. And so when I go and I look at it in my 3D view, you can see that there's no more kind of funky. If I go back a step, there you go. You can see that's what it used to look like. And when I use my align tool, and I can actually align in 3D, it move that wall over. Okay, so knowing little tricks like that, how to use your align command, how to drag something, how to delete a window, replace it in another location, are all going to be, useful tricks for you in this semester, or this quarter, I should say. All right, let's add a few more items to this real quick before we call it a day. Let's go ahead and add, right now we've got a way to get into here, but we don't have a way to get into any other room. So let's go back to our architectural tab. I'm going to choose door. This time I'm just going to use the interior 30-inch wide by 80 tall. And we'll give this an entrance into these areas. And then last but not least, and this is where, so for tonight's class and for the remainder of the classes, until we get to like the last 2 or 3 weeks when we're working on our final, we're gonna turn in a in lecture screenshot. So this is as far as I expect you to get today. I'm gonna show in just a second how to, if you want to go above and beyond and start putting in some families and start putting in some like tables and chairs or door or beds or a stove or whatever, right? We'll get there. Okay, it's not a requirement for tonight. This is what the requirement is just to have something like this where we've got equal spacing, we've got our windows over here with nice even dimensions. Maybe we've got some interior walls and some doors, right? Nothing super fancy. I just want you to take a screenshot. Okay, so I don't want every week, I don't want you to submit your Revit file. It's too many files for me to download every week and open, and then it's a nightmare. So I just like screenshots. If you use your snipping tool on your, you can use snipping tool, and you just click this new. I'll bring this over so you can see it, but you just click this new, and I just want a screenshot of that. So once I take that, it'll bring it up. I can save it. And I'm just going to put it right where I put all my other stuff in this folder. And I'm going to call it week, week 2 screenshot. This is an easy format for you to be able to upload and easy format for me to be able to see in Canvas and grade easily. Okay, so I always want screenshots. That's all I want you to turn in until our final project when we turn in the full file. But I don't want to see files each week. I know I'll get some, and that's fine if I do, but I'll try to keep reminding you guys, okay? We want just a screenshot showing your progress. So, last but not least, once you've taken that screenshot, if we go to our canvas, actually, I gotta do it from, yeah, we go to our canvas and then we go to modules, right? This week, I've opened up the next 2 modules. Since we're not having class next week, I already opened this one up. Okay, and we can go right here to 112 class work. It should be a submission. You go ahead and you just attach it to it. It's very easy, but just attach that file and send it and submit it right here under this module. Any questions on that?
I don't have a question. I've got a statement. I was not building along with you on this. I had full intentions of coming back tomorrow.
That's fine. The video will be posted.
Oh, yeah, right. But I mean, as far as something to turn in tonight, I mean, I've got
turn it in. Not so. My class work. It says it's due tonight. Turn it in by next class.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Okay, right. So if you're one of the people that is able to follow along and you like, I got it. Take a snap, right? Take a snippet. Send it in right now. If you need to watch the video, maybe you need to watch it 2 or 3 times. I don't care. Okay? Turn it in by the next week if possible. Okay?
Gotcha. Right on. Thank you.
So, yeah, but I will post that video. The video will be posted as soon as I'm done tonight. I'll get it rendering and loading, and it should be up there tonight. Again, these probably are going to end up having to go to my YouTube channel just because they end up being so large. but either way, I get them up pretty quickly. So, all right. So for those of you that want to go above and beyond tonight and just want to see a little bit more bells and whistles, if we go to the Insert tab and we go to Load Autodesk Family, and you'll notice there's a little cloud right here. This is going to bring us to the Autodesk Family Browser. And so these are just default families that exist. Here's some cabinets, here's some bunk beds, right? So maybe, and I could just go ahead and click like, you can just select in this top left corner, you can just click on that. And then maybe I want that one. Maybe I want to have this chair. I can select all of what I want, go through it. You know, again, they got air conditioning units, they've got cooktops, rice cooker. I mean, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like, this is just what's Autodesk has in their family library. That's like 1/1000th of what's out there, literally. Probably a lot more than that. So I'll grab these couple items. I've got 6 selected, as you can see right here. If I click load, they're going to go ahead and download, and they're automatically going to appear down here in your families. So if I click this families and I open it up, now it may be a little bit tricky to find what you're looking for. A lot of times it's going to be in like that furniture. So I think I got, a couple things there. I think everything I downloaded is going to be under furniture. So click the family and, drop it in. Maybe I want that bed. Maybe I want this chair. And, one thing that's kind of cool is if you use your space bar when you're dropping it in, you can actually change the orientation in 90-degree increments. Maybe I want, I don't know, I'm just going to fill this room with different chairs. Why not? The one thing you need to make sure you're doing is drilling down as far as you can. If I try to grab this chair right now and grab it, it's not gonna load because right now there's a plus button next to it. So I need to open that plus button until I'm down to the actual type itself. And now I can grab this and drag it in. Maybe I want a credenza, right? I don't know, right? Whatever you guys want to do. Again, this isn't required tonight. We'll get to more of this stuff later. But if you're somebody that wants to just get going and love this program and now you can see it in 3D. And I can also turn my shading on so we actually see it shaded. And yeah, so there's my little credenza. Couple chairs in there, right? I could go grab a toilet, I could grab a fridge, right? And that's what we're going to be doing in this class is ultimately not only just building out these structures and walls and doors and stuff, but also filling them with, furniture, with kitchen appliances, with bathroom, with showers, with toilets, with everything that you're going to have in a real house or dwelling, right?
How did you do the shading again, real quick?
Shading, sweet. So cool, couple things down here at the bottom. So let's do this real quick. I'm gonna turn into wireframe. So real quick. So right now there's a couple different options when you're looking at how you want to view something. So down here, these 2 bottom left icons. One of them is either just a sheet of paper, or it kind of looks like a finish line racing flag, or it looks like a super fine checkered flag. So this is what's called level of detail. So if I want to view it in coarse, you can see that those windows, you know, they've got some trim, it looks good, but as I go from coarse to medium, then they gain, the little cross center piece in there, right? And then when I go from medium to fine, they actually gain not just a line, but it gains, some actual 3D elements inside of there. So that's level of detail is right here. The next one over to the right of it allows you to see in wireframe, which allows you to see through stuff, right? You can see it in hidden line, which is how you would see it in kind of real life. Like if you can't see through that wall, you're not going to see through the wall. The only time you see through it is you can see that chair, right? Only because that chair is visible through the window. Whereas if I was in wireframe, I can see everything. So that's an option. We also have shaded as an option. So more realistic there. You have consistent colors. Um, Again, another form of shaded. You've got textures. Again, so like you can see this door now gained some wood texture on it because that's what the skin was that was applied to it. And then we can go to realistic as well. And that kind of is supposedly the realistic vibe. So, bunch of different ways to change how you're viewing it. And if you change one of these here, it's not going to change in your floor plan. If you wanted to change your floor plan, you got to change it in your floor plan.
That's awesome. Thanks.
Right on. Any other questions? I know that we've gone through a lot today. It's going to get easier as we go. We're also going to be learning a lot more each week. So there's some harder things in there, and then you get more comfortable at the same time. So I advise anyone that may be struggling at all, you know, if you haven't got your book yet, that book is an amazing resource. Okay, so and there's quizzes that are going to be coming off that book, right? So the first quiz that will be out of the book is I've extended the deadline until like February 2nd just to let everyone get the book. But I mean, the first chapter, talks about an overview of it. It talks about conceptual understanding of Revit. Like the next chapter talks about the user interface. So things that we cover in class, but it's going to go much more in depth for either someone that either A wants to learn that much in depth, or B just needs another source of information. And that's fine too. I'm not, the end all be all Revit teacher, right? I'm trying to show you guys tricks and have fun at the same time and make you guys learn something. But um by all means we can drill down to the nitty-gritty of everything. So, and if you're someone that likes that type of stuff too, express an interest and maybe we'll have a one-on-one session, right? So there's all types of ways we can take this class, as you can put a couple hours a week into it, coming here and doing your BIM technology focus and your quizzes, or you can put 5 to 10 hours a week and really start to, explore the modeling because it does take a bit to understand this program, but you get out what you put in. So, um, it's really cool if you put the time in to learn the basics. So then that way you can start thinking about how the program thinks about things and understand how it wants to move. All right. Any questions? Please go ahead.
Graham, I do have something for you. It's not a question on the class, but it's about my Revit license.
Oh, are you having issues with it?
No, I'm carrying over from last year, and so it doesn't expire. It expires on like oh, you know what? I need to relook at that. Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
It should get you through April, if not a full year. So
yeah, I think I'm good. I was thinking something else.
okay, and if not, we can figure out how to get that reset. So
okay, cool.
Right on. Well, please submit your assignments or your, not your assignment, but tonight's in-class work, right? What we did. Let's submit that in Canvas with a screenshot, just like I did. Again, that's right here under week 2, class 112 class work. Go ahead and just submit it under there. It'll open up and it'll ask for it. Let's see if I can do this real quick. You as a student. Let's see what it does. Perfect. So you can just drag your file there. I don't need it named anything special. It's assigned to you. It's great. So as long as that gets there, we're great. And then we don't meet next week. I know it kind of sucks. We just get going and then we're like, week off. But it's a week off. We have 2 Mondays off during this quarter. So next week is the first of them. I believe it's MLK Day, and then we also have President's Day off in a couple weeks after that. So I've got it posted here, right here, Monday, no class. We still have um a couple quizzes that again not due right away, but if you've got the book, go ahead and start them and that kind of stuff. And then we will have one more work sharing BIM technology focus. So there will be one due for this week and one due for next week. Cool. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time tonight. Reach out if you need anything, and I will get this video posted as soon as I can.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys
Thanks.
all on January 27th.
Have a good night.
All right. Thank you. You too.